How y'all feeling tonight? I thought somebody might have been excited, so I'll say it again. How you guys feeling tonight? Awesome. Well, again, my name is Paige, and tonight is a first in a lot of ways for me. This is the first time I'm performing at a poetry slam in my home city. I grew up in the city of Tacoma. I remember walking out of, well, I didn't walk, I was carried out of Tacoma General, right? My family is here to support me. Just really excited about the opportunity. But as you guys can see, the piece here really spoke to me, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore when there's a noose in the picture. But I had a friend who just so happens to be white. I love white people. Just throwing that out there. Because they have a really cool way of asking philosophical questions really simply. One of my white friends asked me, how do you feel being a black man in America right now? And it was a very simple question that turned into a philosophical question, right? And so with that in mind, and remembering this piece, and the words, I believe it was of Dr. Martin Luther King, and I'm paraphrasing this quote, but he said, when it's all said and done, we will not remember the roars of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And I think about the world right now and how many people want to be silent when it's time to speak up. And this is a piece called Philosophical Questions. Philosophical questions. If a tree falls and no one is around to hear it, did it make a sound? If light breaks over the horizon but no one was awake to see it, did the sun actually rise? See, if racism is happening, if there are no racists around to claim it, did oppression still occur? The answer is yes. Asterisk unless you can assemble a jury to say something different, or unless you can prove that you were just following protocol, or unless you can persuade the public that the deceased was a degenerate, if you can validate a fallacy fabricating full sentences to the antithesis of freedom, if you can weave, come and believe, and to string strong enough to hold a body, if you can make a noose with enough leverage to uphold the weight of your innocence, then your insolence can be forgiven. Philosophical questions. If a black body falls and all lives matter, why does nobody consider the victim? See, if you don't see color, can't you differentiate shade? Can't you tell that he's black? That the judge, jury, and shooter are all the same shade? That the hoods are all the same? That everybody is watching while the value of a black body hangs in the balance? But see, I get it. You're not racist. You're not a part of this problem, right? You're just bystanding. And as long as you can plead your case face to face with sound logic, logically deflecting, defending your position with enough ammunition, you can defeat your opposition like, damn. It must be nice to have time to explain yourself. It must be nice to be living during your trial. It must be nice to believe that racism is dead because it's not knocking at your front door. What if we admitted that racism was still living? That hoods and nooses became segregation for school kids, became redlining agreements, became Tuskegee experiments, became war on drugs and jail time, became school to prison pipeline, became prison industrial complex, became slavery's new context, became Trayvon Martin. Which became ironic. Because see, he became iconic for not living to see his 18th birthday. See, he was deemed suspicious for wearing a hood in his hood while the neighborhood watch watched him lay lifeless. How do you explain what life is to a young black boy constantly watching himself lynched on the 7 o'clock news? How do you break the news? That he was born wearing a noose. That there is no reprieve when a public servant can trade his life in for paid administrative leave. Racism did not leave. It evolved. And tonight, it'll become the comments on Facebook that flood this video while the values of black bodies are still hanging in the balance, while the value of my black body still hangs in the balance. Why do black bodies never seem to find balance? What is balance? When you're the only black boy in the classroom, the only black body in the boardroom, the only black face at a police stop, the only soul with slavery running through its bloodlines. This is what it feels like to be taught history that doesn't involve you. To be silenced into subordinates, to put your hands up and surrender and still be gunned down. This is what it feels like when they've sold your bloodlines, when your body has been reduced to the cost of ammunition. Pay attention. This is a new rendition of the same old story with the same old road, just a new name, just a new day, just a new stage, just a new hashtag, just a new grave. Just the same. If only he complied. But if only we realized, America, that you can't socialize people to be strong and criminalize people for standing when they've done nothing wrong. This is wrong. Philosophical question. When will it be publicly acceptable for my life to matter? For our lives to matter? For these black lives, these black bodies, these black souls to matter? Because see, racism is living where hundreds of black bodies this year alone are not. But don't be mad at statistics if you're the one tying the knot. And don't be mad that I said that if you tend to sit and watch, because see, you're content with what you're saying, but I'm angry at what you're not. They say that racism is interpersonal and happens sporadically. I say racism is institutional and happens systematically. But you excuse yourself from the problem like it'll go away magically, but it lives in your silence and manifests in my tragedies. See, racism does not need racists to exist. It only needs well-meaning people to sound like this. Silent. To be an audience. While the value of black bodies are still hanging in the balance, philosophical question. If you are silent in the face of injustice, are you standing on the side of the oppressor? The answer is yes.